This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by a Hogwarts letter. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob, and we're still in the 90s. We're going to be here for a while, so I should probably stop opening the episodes by saying we're still here. That's the theme. We're going to be here for most of the year, well, a good part of the next few months anyway. Today's guest is another repeat guest, a return guest, someone who I met in the 90s, and a lot of our film watching experience was, I guess, established in the 90s. I don't really know what else to say. It's my best friend in the world. It's Josh Sacco. Welcome back to the podcast, Josh.
Hello.
I didn't have an intro planned. I was just like, he's my guy. Here he is.
I feel like your intros in the past have been pretty good anyway.
It's a shame when I run out of words. But I'm glad to have you back. How are you?
I am good. That's
Excellent. I shouldn't have taken a drink when I asked, a question that demanded a monosyllabic answer. I need to open the show with a formal apology to you, which I think you'll find interesting, because almost a year ago to this day, the show began. And not long after that, you were on your first episode. You were one of my very first guests. And in your very first list, you listed AI, artificial intelligence, as one of your favorite films. And I ripped on you. And I never rip on guests, but I ripped on you. And that's fine, because that was early days. But on a really recent episode, which hasn't aired yet, but will air before this one, I brought it up again and I ripped on you again. I was like, I don't normally make fun of movies, but let's be honest, who has AI, artificial intelligence, in their list? I was talking to Maddie about it, but then on her list for the 90s, she talked about Bicentennial Man. And I was like, well, I don't like that movie either. And then we dug into it deeper. And the reason I don't like Bicentennial Man, or the reason I don't go back to that movie, is the same reason I go back to AI, which is I'm terrified about films where robots are lonely for thousands of years at a time. And I was like, oh, so maybe neither of them are bad movies. Maybe I just can't cope with that stuff. So this is my formal apology now that I've learned that I'm just not mature enough to watch those movies.
Oh my God. I love that you figured out you were projecting like an internal fear that you didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like what a terrible movie. Oh, wait, it's me? Okay.
That's hilarious. So how do you feel about Transformers then?
Transformers? What do you mean?
Like, how do you feel about them? When I talk about Optimus Prime, do you just like?
Well, that's obviously got to do with my fear of robots changing into people. No, like I've always said these Transformers films aren't really for me. Like I've only watched two of them. The first one, and Bumblebee, and I quite liked Bumblebee.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Iron Giant. The first one I didn't love, but also that movie told me in the first 3 seconds. Like the opening line of that movie is, before time and space there was the cube, and right there I was like, oh, so this isn't for me. Like that line doesn't work for me. I know, but it put me at ease. I'm like, right, I can just relax now because it's not going to be for me, and I'll just get out of it what I can.
Yeah. Transformers is very 90s, so.
I thought it was more 80s. I thought the cartoon was an 80s product.
Yeah, I bet like it's sort of like merged into the 90s. I felt like Transformers is 80s, but I felt like it was pretty there in the 90s. You know what's a good robot movie? Chappie.
That's a really good robot movie.
Tears me up every time.
I was gonna say, like, I just bawl every time I watch it.
Yeah.
Especially like when spoilers for a almost 10-year-old movie, because Chappie is almost 10 years old. Yeah. When his mother is murdered, like that destroys me. And it's not even his mum. Like it's a gangster woman who like steals him, but like he forms that mother-son relationship with her. And that was what's that rap group called from South Africa? Like that's what it was.
I know. Yeah. I just don't know.
Like the guy's name is Ninja, and I think he just plays a character called Ninja as well. Like it's not, and
they actually play themselves, just like
as robot gangsters. Yeah, it's a solid flick though, directed by the guy who did District 9.
Yeah, their movies are awesome. Yeah,
that's such a good movie. Like you're making me want to go and watch Chappie right now.
I watched it I think about 2 weeks ago. I was like, I'm just gonna watch this because I really liked it the first time.
Yeah, it's great. I think like it put a lot of people off in the marketing because it was like a robot that had like a gangster chain around its neck, and people were like, "What's this?" But like in the context of the film, like, oh, it makes total sense. Like that he's doing it because like he's brought up by these South African gangsters, and that's what they do. But I think people just like, oh, the marketing is trying to make him seem really hip, and I was like, no, idiots, just watch the movie, like, and then you'll get it.
Yeah.
Good flick. I haven't heard anyone talk about Chappie in a long time, but I'm glad you brought it up because that's a solid movie.
I mean, like, because like every now and then, like, I'm talking about like AI, and then there's like iRobot. It's all their movies about like morality and Like every like 5 years, there's like a morality robot movie that comes out.
I iRobot. I remember when iRobot came out. I went to see. So we were in a friendship group with a couple of guys. I won't name names because we don't really speak to them anymore. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus or anything. But I went with someone. It might have been with you to go and see Chronicles of Riddick, and I loved Chronicles of Riddick because I love Pitch Black. And then I don't know whether it was you and someone else in that group or the other two people in that group went alone, but someone went and saw iRobot in cinemas. And they were like, I can't believe we went to Chronicles of Riddick. iRobot's way better. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. Like, I like Pitch Black. So that's why I went to it. And then I saw iRobot when it came out, and I liked it. But I was like, still think I prefer Chronicles of Riddick. Like, but I don't know how iRobot holds up. Like, it's a very CGI heavy film in like 2003. So I wonder how it looks now. But I'd be keen to check it out again.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk 90s movies today, Josh. You and I met in the 90s. I want to say 93, 94 is probably when we met. Obviously, that's the biggest impact of the 90s to you. But outside of meeting me, what do the 90s mean to you? Like, is that a special time for you? Like, what do you think of when you think of the 90s?
Just awesome cartoons. Nickelodeon cartoons.
I was going to say big Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's awesome.
Goosebumps.
Yes.
I know we brought it up last time, but
I was going to say, we're going to say the same thing we say every time we get together, but Nickelodeon cartoons like Goosebumps video game, Return to Horrorland.
I just feel like there was a lot. 90s was just like, I just remember a lot of plastic. That's what it feels like to me. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of material stuff in the 90s.
Like I think of like the rise of the console wars like began in the 90s.
PlayStation, Nintendo, Super Smash Brothers, I think, was a big part of our childhood. So
yes, absolutely. I just remember something I haven't thought of in years. I would say over a decade I haven't thought of. But you said I remember a lot of plastic. It's going to be funny when I tell you this. But I remember one of the first times I came to your house, you were telling me about your dog. I think, was it Jackson? Was that one of your dogs? You had a dog named Jackson. And like, this is my dog Jackson. He sometimes eats balloons and he poops them out. And like, that was one of the first things you told to me for the first time I came to your house. And I've never forgotten it, but I just remembered it then.
It sounds like a dumb fun fact I would tell you.
Yeah, like, this is my mum, this is my dad, this is my brother, this is our house, this is my dog Jackson. Sometimes he eats balloons and poops them out, and then there's balloons in his poop.
Animals. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was looking that up recently because they've started re-releasing very slowly the novels as graphic novels, which I'm all about. I've bought the first two. The third one's out there, so I can't find it at the moment. But they're releasing like 2 a year. I'm like, there are 60 of these books. Like, you got to pick up the pace. Otherwise, there's going to be no one alive who remembers this series. Like, you've got to get them out quicker. Like, put out like 5 a year. Put out one every 2 months. Like, they're only $15. Like, people will snap them up. But I've been enjoying revisiting them. And to me, I'm like, that's a franchise. Like, why haven't we seen that, like, redone again?
Yeah.
Like, that's a great franchise. It's so much fun. Like, especially in the age of today, like with the technology we have.
Yeah.
You could do a cool Animorphs like series or movie.
Yeah, definitely. Pokemon is another thing.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Pokemon before we started recording. I've been playing like not recently, but over Christmas I was playing a Pokemon game, which is a lot of fun. Shocked how much I got back into it so quickly. I was just like, this is everything I remember loving.
Also collectibles, the era of collectibles in chip packets.
Pogs, Tarzos.
Yeah, Oddbods.
Oddbods. But do you remember? There were like the glow in the dark trading cards, scratch and sniff. Was that Oddbods? Is that what it was?
Yeah, you rub them, the black spot.
Yeah. That's right. I remember you used to make your own Oddbods.
Yeah, I still got them in a bag. just my cards and the Oddbods mixed all into one for some reason. Yeah. Every now and again, I was like, oh, I'll see what like young Josh did for a few ideas and see if I can like pull it out and redo it or something. But
That was your claim to fame, though, because you were like, like within the school, kind of famous for your ability to draw. Like we've talked about your art a lot on this show. Like every time you come on, I pimp it out and talk about it a little bit. But I think it was in grade 3 where people really started to notice. And like you were drawing better than like the older kids. Like you would just draw and draw and draw. And like, yeah, you made the little odd bod cards and everyone was just like, oh, what is this? Like whenever there was a project where art was involved, like you were the popular kid. People were like, please, Josh, team up with me.
but that's it. Any other time.
At least you had that. Like there was no like task. Like we need a really scrawny kid who doesn't shut up about the Blues Brothers. Like so they never picked me.
Oh, Harry Potter, is that another 90s thing?
Yeah, Harry Potter, tail end of the 90s. I think I started reading Harry Potter in grade 5.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's a big part.
I remember like in primary school, like you know how they do like the reading, like on Friday afternoons they do like the reading. They read a book like from the Harry Potter one.
Well, I remember, and I think you were in my class at that point where I'd read them, and I said to our teacher, like, you should read Harry Potter, and I was like, I can bring the book if you want, and like I pretty much like peer pressured her into it. I'm like, just do it, because no one else. I don't think anyone else had really read it in our class for the most part at that point. It was very new. Like that's the thing. Like people, kind of younger than our generation wouldn't understand. Like Harry Potter wasn't always there. Like there was a time, before Harry Potter, and just like the Blues Brothers, when I started talking about it at school, people were like, what is this thing? That's weird. And it took a little while for it to catch on. But then, like, obviously, I'm not saying I brought it to the world where like it caught on because I brought it to our school, but like there weren't a lot of people I knew that read it, and then like in our classroom it became very popular after that, which was cool.
Yeah, I remember you being pretty heavily into it.
It's they're just like it was the most. It might sound strange, but the most mature thing I'd read at that point, because I was reading those Animals books, those Goosebump books, which are great, but they're definitely aimed towards younger readers. Whereas this was like had proper chapters, and like it was written in a way that I wasn't used to, and it was all in third person, and most of the books that I read were in first person. My name is Jake. I can't tell you anything. I can't tell you my last name or my age, otherwise the Yerks will come and get me. Like that's the content that I was reading. It's so funny. Like I was thinking the other day about the movie The Faculty, which is also a 90s movie. And the only reason I watched The Faculty is because someone told me it's kind of like Animorphs because the aliens are parasites that enter through the ear. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I thought of the word yerk, which I hadn't thought of in over a decade. I mean, I've been reading those graphic novels and I'd forgotten that word. Thinking about The Faculty reminded me of it.
The book that made my 90s was the Terry Denton ones and the Andy Griffiths.
Just crazy, just annoying, just stupid. They're so good.
On the corner,
yes. Which was a huge influence on us. Like I don't know if you remember, but like a little bit in primary school, but definitely in high school, we would do that sort of stuff. We'd write in the margins of our books. We'd write little cartoons and comics, often when the other person wasn't aware. I mean, obviously, there's the really immature, vulgar stuff the teenage boys draw in all books. Yeah. But I remember, like, it was such a good prank as well. It was so funny. Like, because it happened, like, you did it to me. And when I discovered it, like, I was in front of the teacher and the teacher was disgusted, but it was so funny. And that's in our Italian class, in our Italian textbook, you'd just drawn like a poo on a stick and it just said next to it, poo on a stick. And I was like cracking up so much. And the teacher was like, oh my God, that's gross. Who did that? And I was like, I don't know. But just like tears streaming down my face. It was it was a solid prank. Like, drawing wieners and stuff, like everyone does that. But like, for the listeners, like you'd understand, like it wasn't just like he drew the very stereotypical kind of yogurt Mr. Whippy swirl kind of poo. Like it was a stick and it had been grafted to the stick. It had shape, it had texture, but it looked as though it had, the stick had been put through it. It adhered and it was just stuck on there. Like it was it was the perfect representation of what that would look like. And it was like just the amount of effort you'd gone into it was so funny. Like even at 14, I could appreciate the craftsmanship.
Our books were destroyed.
We would like black out the eyes and like make the children satanic. Like every couple of pages there was a devil tail and horns. Like you just had to demonize everything in those books.
God, yeah.
But that was it. But that came from those books you're talking about, like the Just Crazy, because all their margins were full of like silly cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, Pooh on a Stick, haven't thought of in years. But like that memory just brought me right back to it. We did a lot of video store hunting as well in the 90s. Like we would go to the video store constantly and go and rent stuff, because that was like in the age of sleepovers. Like you'd all get together on the weekend, you'd rent a couple of videos and kick back and just have like stay up late. Unlike now, where I just go to my Blu-ray case and stay up late and watch movies on my own. And depending on whose house you went to, would kind of determine what kind of films. Like I've been very open. Like I grew up in a very strict household, so we're getting PG movies, and it was almost always kind of featured Beverly Hills Ninja. Like that movie was on rotation. So good. I watched it a few years ago. I want to say maybe 3 years ago tops. Still holds up. So funny, like really, really funny. But then, like, if it was your house or a couple of other friends, there'd be more horror stuff, or like, would be leaning towards horror. Depending on the person's house, like you guys go to something a bit more challenging, a little bit more interesting. But that would have been that. What was that? I'm trying to think if that was 90s or later. Maybe not quite in the 90s. 90s, we might have still been watching comedies. I remember it was either the last year of primary school or the first year of high school. We were all at your place, and you had a VHS recorded cut of South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. And we're like, oh my god, this is awesome! Like, because that was a gift. Like at our age, like no, I wasn't watching South Park at all. I think South Park debuted when we were in grade 3 or grade 4. And the first time someone talked about it, I didn't realize it was a cartoon or a comedy. Like they just kept saying this guy called Kenny was getting murdered every week, and I was like, oh my god, what a horror show! Like I didn't realize what it was. But we finally sat down to watch it. We were just like, this is going to be amazing. And we were so bored because at that point we couldn't appreciate the music. Like it was a musical. Like, every time someone starts singing, one of our friends would be like, fast forward, and you'd be like, all right. And like we just skipped through the song to the next part of the story. I want to say that was grade 6, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I remember being in South Park in grade 3 and stuff. Like it's just like the naughty thing to be into. My parents were always like, "You shouldn't watch that." Didn't really make much of an effort to like ban it because they sort of. I remember watching a Christmas special with them, and they were like sitting there laughing at Mr. Hangy.
Yeah, like they were like, "You shouldn't watch that," but to stop you, we'd have to do something about it. So I guess you can watch it.
Yeah, no, it's South Park was. Was it a 90s thing? Was it? I mean, they're timeless, so.
It definitely launched in the 90s because we were young when it came out, but I'm just trying to remember that first time I watched the movie. But it was early, like I was definitely too young to watch. I remember watching being like, I can't tell my parents I've seen this. Like they will rip me a new one. Because like it was pretty full on. But I remember, like everyone, like a couple of people in our group, I didn't care. I was like, oh, I'll watch a song. Like I don't care. Like, but the couple of people in our group would just like skip the songs. They're boring. So we missed like half the movie because that movie is a flat out musical. Like, I'm trying to think what else people watch. I know we were in a group of people who went to go and see Bring It On together in grade 6. I think that was our like after we graduated grade 6, we all went as a group to go see a movie, and the girls picked and was Bring It On. And we're like, oh, cheerleading movie, but Bring It On's actually a pretty good movie, so it worked out all right.
Pokemon. I'm pretty sure we went and saw Pokemon.
We went and saw Pokemon 2000 at Daniel Allen's birthday party.
Was that 90s or 2000s?
That's definitely 90s. Yeah, we were in primary school. And Daniel Allen is now a member of council for Brimbank. Or he was the last time I checked in. That was a few years ago. And his sister stole my jumper. So don't hold it against him, voters. Like, I'm not trying to talk him down. Like, she was like in grade 2, and she didn't go out of her way to steal it. I forgot it at their house. And then one day I saw her wearing it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, no one thought to offer it back.
I feel like that's definitely a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment there.
Yeah.
Nice just think someone else wearing your jumper just throw you off.
Yeah, I was like, I was looking about, and I remember I was staring at it. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing, nothing." That's so strange. And then like, I was too young to have empathy, so I just went up to Daniel Allen like the next day. I'm like, "Hey," I'm like, I remember, do you remember your party? And I asked you if I left my jumper at your house. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw your sister wearing it yesterday. He goes, oh, he goes, that's weird. I'll get it back for you. Like, that's fine. So I don't think like he was maliciously involved in abducting my jumper. I think that like it was left there. His parents were probably like, is this one of ours? Probably. Okay, let's just wash it. And then like, it just didn't click. But that's so funny.
Yeah.
Man, the 90s. What a crazy, crazy time.
Mm.
Yeah, so my memories with you, I guess, connect with like primary school, like from the 90s. Like that was, where we did everything. That's where everything rolled. Like it's not even like our memories aren't even necessarily movie centric in the 90s because we were kids. Like
Yeah.
we're playing Foursquare every every lunchtime and
Watching
mess
cheap TV in the mornings.
Cheese TV with was it Ryan and Jade? Was that
Yeah.
those guys?
Yeah.
Watching Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z and
Yeah.
Samurai Pizza Cats
Yeah.
and Biker Mice from Mars. I'm trying to like think of all the cartoons from when we were in the 90s. Street Sharks. I love Street
Yeah.
Sharks. That show was Jawsome, as the theme song suggested.
Yeah. Nineties were great for like just everything. I mean, we're biased, obviously, but I just like it just feels like there's everything in the 90s. Like
It's just so
everything
different.
across the board. There could be comedies, like sci-fi, horror, just everything of everything. Like it's just like you go to the movies, you'd have like a selection of like various movies, like TV shows, even cartoons. They'd just be like, and like they weren't as censored. Like you could have like, you know, monsters or talking babies saying crude things or like,
Yeah, the 90s definitely feel like an edgier time. Like the 80s kind of opened up the idea of excess and just kind of like they kind of opened up the gates a little bit with like, hey, we'll start making weird stuff. Like the 80s was really like when weird became acceptable, but the 90s, it's like now that people are accepting weird, let's make it really adult and like inappropriate. Let's create Ren and Stimpy. Let's create Rocko's Modern Life. Let's come up with our real monsters. I was never allowed to watch Ren. Like that's how Ren and Stimpy was like. Well, actually, I'm not a good example because I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. But even The Simpsons, I would say, is like it was edgy. Like it was more dangerous. It was more adult than cartoons that come beforehand.
yeah.
Um,
But Simpsons was different for its time. I mean, I know it started in the 80s, but like, I mean, its run was through the 90s.
oh yeah, like the first season was at the end of '89, and then it all moved on into the '90s. Yeah, like even though technically, if you're in a trivia night, they'd be like, no, it's '80s. But like, there's no denying that like all of its humor and stories are influenced by that '90s culture.
Yeah. But the idea of like an adult cartoon, I'm pretty sure like, The Simpsons might have been up there as one of the first mainstream ones, I reckon.
Oh yeah, definitely. It may very well have been. Like I'm trying to think of any like. Well, I mean, I guess like people don't think about it, but Peanuts, I would say, is very much an adult cartoon. Like people don't think of it as an adult cartoon because it's rated G and it's all about kids. But like, look at the kids in that. Like look at the kids in that show. Like Charlie Brown has depression, and Linus has like separation anxiety, and Lucy is like a bully. And if you look at it, I'm like, what kid is enjoying this cartoon? Like, it's really sad.
It's a very dry cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah, I watched the a couple of the old Peanuts movies last year. I was like, boy, these are sad. Like, what kid's enjoying this? Like, it's definitely made more for adults.
Dog carries it, though, doesn't it?
He's not in it that much. Like, he's kind of in interludes, but it's very much about like Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown, like, is there's a reason why his name has become like a stereotype. Like, he's a real sad sack. But Simpsons is probably the big carrier, and then like it's funny to think that South Park was only a few years later. Like you think that like when we were kids, I'm like, well, Simpsons has been around forever and South Park's new, but like they're only like 6 years apart.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Like when you compare it to something like Family Guy, which I think was, although Family Guy I think was 99.
Yeah, it definitely went through the 2000s on and off, but it hit the end of the 90s. Yeah.
Like a modern version would be like Bob's Burgers, but even Bob's Burgers has been on the air for like 16 years or something now. Like it's been around for so long.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I haven't watched the new season yet. I haven't watched the previous season's finale either. But I love that cartoon so much.
Yeah, I think we binge watched it like ages ago. So like all the episodes just merged into one.
still holds up to me. Like there's no like that show is one of the most consistent show, like not just cartoons but shows on the air. Like Bob's Burgers never disappoints me.
Yeah.
Um,
The humor's just like left field. So like you can just have a show almost about nothing and the characters would just carry it most of the time.
and I relate to Bob's like on so many levels. Like I just like I'm just like that. And like I said this to Tina like a little while ago. I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but we are definitely Bob and Linda. Like, and if you don't
Yes.
think you're Linda, you're way more like Linda than you
Yes.
realize. Like,
Yes. Yes.
uh,
I think so. We're gonna
yeah.
have to get Zoe some bunny ears, I think.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like when she was born, that I was looking for them. They make them, and they're like expensive.
Like
They-
legit ones.
like Bob's Burgers branded like Louise
Right.
is like $60. I was like, that's a lot for a joke. Like it's a, like I'm a fan of a punchline and I'm dedicated to a punchline, but that's a lot for a joke. Like she might not even wear them. Although now she probably would. So maybe I've got to look into it, see if there's any discounted Louise bunny ears.
Even if
Uh,
it's like for Halloween, if you can like do a Halloween year, you can dress up as Bob and just stick like the bunny ears on her for a first Halloween or something.
that kid, man, that kid makes me laugh. She's so funny. I know that like I'm biased because I'm her dad, but some of the stuff she comes up with like is just um, she's obsessed with right now music videos. Like she's always been interested in music videos because like early on when she was younger, I would show her YouTube clips. I'd show her Mulan and I'd show her Hercules and like just to get her an interest in music. And I was like, if I show you the good strong princesses now, like you won't. No, I'm not saying you can't like the other ones as well, but I just want to show you some like good, positive, strong characters. Like Mulan's a really good character and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But now she's into like really into like pop music, and I don't know how familiar you are with the artist Lizzo. I only heard about her recently, but like apparently she's huge. And there's a song called "About Damn Time," which Zoe is obsessed with. Like she knows it almost word for word, which is
Mm.
rough because there's some pretty strong language in that song. But I busted the other day like singing the chorus just to herself. She's like, "It's about damn time," and I'm like, "It's about damn time for what, kid?" But she cracks me up.
Nice.
We went on a bit of a tangent as we're prone to do on this show, but like talking about the 90s with you is going to be so much more personal than with everyone else. Like you're the only person on this show that I'm going to speak to, with the exception of my family, who I knew in the 90s really. So all of our memories are tied beyond movies themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone else I think I met like in the late 2000s. I was talking to you before, like I've been working on a project, which I won't talk about on the show yet. This is only the third episode I've referenced the project and I still haven't announced it. But I was reminiscing on our Video Easy days and I thought about Tanya. Like she would be a great guest.
Yeah.
If I can, like we've started reconnecting a little bit, but if she would come on, like, gee, what a good guest she would be. And she has so many good stories of working Video Easy that I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Because she was the normal one.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember anything. I know there's some fun. I mean, I can't even remember my bad story, which I've already told. But
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of good stories, but I can't remember them.
All the best stories for the most part are just Levent stories. Why scare yourself for?
Yeah.
I was telling Tina the other day about when Panic at the Disco. I don't know if you heard the band Panic at the Disco. They broke up, but really it was just one guy anyway. He was just like, I'm not doing it anymore. And I was like, I remember when they first came out because like they were the most divisive band. Like real emo kids didn't like them because they were like a poser emo band, and everyone else who didn't like emo music didn't like them anyway because they didn't like emo music. But I remember I didn't mind them. I thought they were kind of fun pop punky stuff, and we would go into Video Easy every Saturday. You and I and Tanya, we'd play CDs. Like you and I would play metal records and kind of like heavier rock, and then she would try to get us into alt indie rock, which never worked. I actually told her the other day when I was messaging, I'm like, I'm still not into We Are Scientists or Kings of Leon. I'm sorry, it just didn't work. But I remember one time Levent came in because he wouldn't even work on Saturdays. He would just come in and visit. Like everyone who worked at Video Easy would come in and visit on a Saturday. Like at some point, like Besnick would show up, tap the counter a bunch, go like grab some movies. Mark would come in.
Drop some philosophy and then just leave.
Yeah. Him and Tanya would debate who is like a better, like this is gonna sound really racy, but like a better race, Albanians or Bosnians, because I think he was Albanian, she was Bosnian. It could be the other way around, but there was a huge point of contention between them.
And
And
Mark would bring in his soccer ball as
he'd
well.
always have a sports ball. It was a basketball or a soccer ball. He's always been doing sport. I really liked Mark. I was thinking about it because I think we had a bit of a falling out towards the end. I can't remember why.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, like I wish we hadn't because I really liked him. I thought he was really funny. He was really enthusiastic. He loved working in the video store.
Always out of breath.
Yeah, but like the people who worked there would come in on Saturday and just like they would bring girls. Like, do you remember there's like always like 17-year-old girls, like, which sounds weird, but we were 17 at the time, so it was okay. But like they would like bring like just bring girls just look at videos because like that was a cool job. So they're like, oh, like you look at the video store. Like, they all come in, and yeah, eventually Levent would come in and like, why scare yourself for? But he came in and is like, I think I was playing Panic at the Disco because Tanya liked them. Yeah, I think you'd gone out for lunch or whatever. And it's like, oh, he goes, is this the goddamn DOS song? And I was like, oh yeah, I write Sins Not Tragedies. Like, yeah, closing the goddamn door. He goes, next time I'm working with you, bring the CD. I want to listen to the goddamn DOS song. And every time we work together, he'd be like, goddamn door. But I'm like, do you want to listen to the other songs? He's like, no, just the goddamn DOS song.
I swear you could write a sitcom on our experience.
It's a really long story with a punchline that no one appreciates except for you and me, but I love that story so much.
That place, it just feels like you're living in a show.
It was so much fun. Like I got really sad thinking about it because I'm like there'll never be a job like that again. Like, and I don't mean for us. I mean for anyone. Like the video store is dead. Like no one's gonna. There's no other job where you got paid poorly. Like we got paid like $8-9 an hour, but all you did was like mess around with your friends, like sit around, eat like snacks, get like fast food, watch movies, play music, like, and no one cared. It was fine. I'm sure the customers cared. Like we weren't the best employees. Like I remember how I had to yank a Rage Against the Machine song off because it still wouldn't stop swearing after 2 minutes, and I was like, at some point, someone's not going to be happy about this. But man, it was such a good time. I was thinking about that a lot. But yeah, Levent and Besnick in particular were just funny characters. Oh, that's tough. Besnick used to say that. He goes, oh, that movie's tough. You got to watch it. It's tough.
Yeah.
But he liked Batman as well. I remember he was coming in, like he was talking, like he was telling me how excited he was for the Dark Knight. And then when he finally, no, Batman Begins. And then like every time I saw him, he was like, hey, James, does it come in black? Like, because that was a line out of Batman Begins. Like he would just say it to me all the time.
His delivery, he could say anything, and the delivery would just be hilarious.
Yeah, those guys were great. Like I loved that job so much.
Yeah.
And it was a rough neighborhood. And like you, Tanya, and I were 17 years old. Like we were older than her. She was the youngest by far. I think she was 15 and we were 17. And we were closing up on a Saturday night, like 11 o'clock. Like no adults, like the middle of a rough neighborhood. Like yeah, let's just run a video store and hopefully no one like comes and attacks us.
Yeah.
I didn't plan for this to be a flashback to the good old days episode. Because that didn't happen in the 90s. Like it's the wrong decade, but oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. I'm always interested when anyone brings a list, but I'm really interested to see what your list is because your lists have always been unexpected to me. Yeah. I never know what to expect from you. Like you,
I think I can guarantee there's always going to be one Tim Burton movie in there.
Well, yeah, I was going to say there's probably a Tim Burton movie on here. But other than that, I really don't know. Like, because you also have we have such vastly different tastes. Like I always thought we had the same taste, and we do have the same taste. But then there's stuff that I would watch that you would never watch, and stuff that you would watch that I'd be like, I probably have seen, but I'm like, what? That's. I mean, you did to me on the very first episode. I'm like, AI. Like, wow, okay. Like, I apologize for that. So I've done my due diligence there.
No, that's fine. I think it's good because I think it's good because every time I tell you that I don't like a movie, you will always defend a movie, and I've never heard you not defend a movie. Because I'll be like, yeah, I'll hold a movie up to like a sort of standard, like has to have good story, actors have to be great, just everything that makes a good movie. And I'll be like, no, I didn't like it for this reason. And you'll be like, well, I think it's good. And then AI is the first time I've heard you trash a movie ever.
No, I mean, that's not entirely. I mean, look, it's not entirely true. I used to be very, very snobby, especially like in my 20s. Like, I didn't want to I didn't want to call the show I was a mid-20s film snob because like that doesn't sound very good. I was a little bit snobby in my teen years, and definitely in my 20s I was. Like there was a point in my 20s where like 25%, I only liked about 25% of the movies that I watched. I'm like, do I even like movies if I only like a quarter of all movies I watch? So I had to really change my outlook. And now at a point where I'm like, there's so much more important stuff out there than like how good a movie is. Like, so I always will give a movie a chance, and like I know that no one goes out of their way to make a bad movie, so I always try and find something redeeming in it. But there are movies I don't like. I just tend not to talk about the movies I don't like, or like I got pretty. The last episode that I recorded with Maddie, and these are going to be released out of order, so it might not be the last episode for the listeners. But we were talking about Jurassic Park Dominion, and I struggled to like. Didn't have a lot of nice things to say about it. Like I didn't think it was a bad film, but I was just like, I'll repeat it. Like I'll say what I said the other night, where I was really excited for it because I'm like, dinosaurs are finally in the world. This is going to be great. Oh no, we're just going to go back to another island. Like it's 6 movies. We're never going to not be on an island. We're just going to go back to another island again. And we've got.
I was just going to say, the remakes have sort of hit their end, their stretch.
I liked the first Jurassic World quite a bit. I really enjoyed it, and the second one I liked it, but they're 2 separate movies. Like I like the first part quite a bit. I like the second part quite a bit, but they didn't really kind of meld for me. Like you could have done them. Yeah, you can. I don't know, like how you would have fixed it, but and Dominion I liked enough, but I just was like, oh, this is your final chapter, and you had the chance to do something different. So we're going back to the island. Okay. And then the other thing was like, we're bringing all the actors. Everyone's back. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, everyone you love from the original ones. Plus, we've got Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. So they're definitely going to meet in the last 20 minutes of the movie. It's like, like Avengers this. Bring them together. Like, make them like fight and then make them a team early on. And then anyway. But I didn't dislike it. I just don't get mean about movies very much. I think AI was just so perplexing. I was just like, I was so caught off guard by it.
I mean, you can't be too hard on creatives because, there's always a set of circumstances that you never see. Budget, behind the scenes, drama and all that sort of stuff.
That's the thing, and that's what the whole approach of this show has been. Like, if every movie is someone's favorite movie, then there can't be any bad movies. They might not be for me, but it doesn't make them bad. They're just not to my taste. Point in fact, you recommended to me, I think it was late last year, you said, check out Secrets of Dumbledore. Like, they're finally on track. Like, it's the best of the Fantastic Beasts movies. And Tina and I did watch it. Like, I bought it on Blu-ray, and I was like, we're going to sit down and watch it. It's going to be great. And it is the best of the 3, but I still don't know how I feel about it.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, I mean, like, you were going to see it anyway, but it is the best of the 3. But it's because J.K. Rowling had a writer help on the story as well, which is crazy. It should have been
like all the Dumbledore stuff's really good, and all the Grindelwald stuff's really good, and like Mads Mikkelsen is I like Johnny Depp. Like, take the politics out of it, and like whatever's going on in his personal life. Like, I'm not really interested in that. But like, I didn't mind him as Grindelwald, but Mads Mikkelsen, like in his first scene, you're like, oh yeah, this is a way better choice. Like, he fits the bill. My problem with that movie is the Fantastic Beasts of it all. Like, there's a scene, like Tina and I would pause it like every 15 minutes and have to like break down what we've just watched. So it's a 2.5 hour film that took us 4 hours to watch. And towards the end, I paused and I said, you know that whole scene when Newt goes and saves his brother? Spoilers for a movie if you haven't seen it. And Tina's like, yeah. I'm like, unless his brother like has some really important information we haven't been told yet in the 3rd act, I think that whole scene was just to fit a few more Fantastic Beasts in this movie.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I was like, because there's no point to that scene otherwise. Like, and Tina's like, oh yeah, I figured that's what it was. I'm like, oh. Like, this movie could have been way shorter. Like, they could just just drop the Fantastic Beasts part. Like, no one cares. Like, no one cares about the Fantastic Beasts at this point. Just drop it. Like,
the amount of times I sit there just ranting to Beck about how like disconnected all the characters are in that universe. Like, you've got like the story is about Newt, but the story is not.
Is it? Because it's not about
Newt. It's not about Newt, but Newt's in it, and nothing correlates between him having knowledge about beasts and the actual plots. And they stick them in as side things, and like it's just a mess. Like
Well,
someone said that they should have focused on the Deathly Hallows as a storyline and just followed Dumbledore, which
we did a whole movie on the Deathly. We did 2 movies on the Deathly Hallows, which don't need any more.
just Dumbledore and Grindelwald. We should just focus on that, which is what we're doing with extra characters.
My problem with it, and I don't think it's a bad movie. Like, there's definitely an audience for it, and I did like a lot of parts of it. I got a little bit confused because their whole point was we need to keep Grindelwald confused, so therefore the movie was confusing. And I think that what happened was they saw the movie and they're like, let's just reshoot a line where someone says Grindelwald needs to be confused, so that way we can justify that everyone's going to be confused by this movie.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem with it was no Porpentina. Like, she was your main character for the first 2 films. She made a comment about J.K. Rowling apparently, and so her scenes were reduced. But you've just lost your main character. Like, she's your driving force. Like, she's more interesting than Newt.
No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna disagree. I thought she was like boring. I thought she's Newt's only motivation in the movies. Other than that, he didn't have drive for anything. It's only Dumbledore recruiting him that makes him a useful tool in the story.
Well, maybe she's not the most interesting, but at least she was our connection. Like, she made more sense than Newt, I suppose. Like,
yeah. Newt, I mean, like, she makes more sense because she's connected to the events that are happening in the world, and that brings Newt along because he's interested in her, which is a terrible like story arc for a character just to follow. I mean, especially in this world, of all the things you could do, like, his goal is a love interest, a classic love interest, mind you, and like, yeah, she does make sense in the world more so, but then as pertaining to the story, she doesn't really have anything to do.
But I guess my problem was that, like, she was just removed from the film and there was no explanation. So I was like, oh, are we done with that character? My second problem, so it's all about the 3 characters who were shown that we introduced you in the first film. Second problem is Jacob. Like, are Muggles just your hero now? Like, I mean,
yes. Why is he there?
I don't understand.
Does his wand work or not? Do they just give him a fake wand?
I can't figure it out. And then my last problem is Queenie. Queenie to me was the standout of that first film.
Yeah,
like, she was like Fantastic Beasts, like, although flawed, I was like, this is a mature Harry Potter story. Like, you've got it's all about the adults, so you can get away with it more. Like, you can have Newt being neurotic, you can have Jacob being flirty, you can have Queenie who's kind of like a sex pot. Like, she's kind of like looking for like attractive men, and she doesn't mind dating Muggles because even though it's dangerous or like frowned upon. So I'm like, oh, she's so interesting. Like, she's so layered. And then in the third movie, I'm like, oh, so when you turn evil, you become boring. Because, like, she doesn't look happy ever. Like, she's all washed out. And she's like, okay, I'll go do that. Like,
well, it's convincing when she goes to the other side because I feel like she's a character that represents like freedom in that sort of time period where she's breaking conventions all over the place for that time. And then she goes to the dark side because she believes in a different thing. And instead of becoming like more loose, she becomes more wound up and like just becomes, like you said, less of the character, conforms more to the surroundings. Where you'd think that if she went to the dark side, what she stands for would be less conforming, which is what they want.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
And there was a moment very early on where, like, the bow truckle comes out, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like, everyone's favorite stick is back. Like, this is a movie franchise where everyone has a wand, the most interesting stick you can have. We don't need a talking stick. Like,
well, I did, like I said, the third movie's the most coherent and one where the Newt is the most useful. But like you said, they sort of create the problems in order to make him useful.
Yeah, well, now that obviously I've been quite negative. I just trying to prove a point that I can be negative about films, but I will say this: there's a lot in that movie I do like.
Yeah,
all the Dumbledore stuff's great. I love they go into his past more. That's something that was really missing from the Harry Potter films. Like, in the Deathly Hallows, there's all this stuff about Dumbledore that isn't quite covered in the film. So I loved all that. I loved how they explained the Ezra Miller character, because I remember at the end of the second one, I was like, so what? He's just Dumbledore's other brother he didn't know about? And then I was like, no, he's his nephew. I'm like, oh, yeah. I actually quite like that. I like that Dumbledore's brother had a secret son. Yeah, I wish you had told me that at the end of the second film and not waited, because I was angry for a long time about that.
It's the way they did it just seemed like they were just like throwing things at the screen to keep you interested. Yeah.
But yeah, so there is stuff I do like in it. it was just like it's just a weird franchise. Like the franchise makes less and less sense to me as it moves on. But again, like I'm still enjoying bits and pieces of each movie I watch, and there's definitely an audience, a hardcore audience for it, even if I'm not part of it. So
Yeah,
not a terrible flick, but definitely a perplexing one for me.
I mean, I like it. I think I get frustrated because I was like, I see the potential, and you're like, well, what do you like? You're like, you could have done this and this and this and this.
Mm.
It's just sort of frustrating to see, especially when they nailed the first like 7 movies, so effortlessly.
I just want to see wizards in a different setting. Like I don't need to see them like on cobblestone streets, going to business meetings and stuff like that. Like throw them in space, throw them in the Wild West, throw them somewhere we haven't seen them before. Like
Yeah.
show me like the wizard. Like I feel like, and we will talk about your list, I promise. But I'm just on a rant now. I
I feel like
feel
this is
like
the same as like what was the '90s show into the Harry Potter bashing segment.
I feel like the problem with this franchise, the biggest problem I have, I think, is that they've said it in the past, but only like 50 years in the past, so it's not that different. Like, show me wizards in like Camelot. Like, show me like the bird, like when magic is new and scary. Like, because this version of the wizards we've basically seen this version before. So that's why I'm like it's fine, but I've seen
Yeah, I thought we were going to get New York, like American wizards. That's what I thought, but they're just traveling all over the place. And
we did. We got two of them, and they become less interesting over time. And one of them got pretty much erased from this latest film. They're like, no American wizards, back to British
give
wizards.
me a proper European one that's not like in England or something. Give me something like that just dives further into the world, expands it, which is what they've done, but they've stayed pretty close to like.
Yeah, like in a world of infinite possibilities where you can go as far from Hogwarts as possible. Like we've gone to Hogwarts twice. Like just.
The video game is doing a better job. They've jumped back to like the 1800s.
Oh,
So
that's cool. That's what I mean. Like, show me wizards during Prohibition. Show me wizards like, I don't know, just anywhere we haven't seen them before. And to be honest, there's a lot of time we haven't seen wizards. So show me wizards like with Jesus. Like, I don't care. Like, just something different.
yeah, I think I think they wanted to tell one story, but then they chucked Newt in, and we just got a lot of stories.
I just had a really. I was like, oh my god, this would be amazing, but it's going to offend a lot of Catholics out there. And that's what if Pontius Pilate and like all the people who overthrew Jesus were under like what's the spell where you can make people do things? Not the Cruciatus curse. There's the unforgivable curses, like where they like possess people. Like, what if that's what it was? Like, oh, I'm gonna get death threats now. But like that would be, I don't know. Like I'm being ridiculous, but at the same time, I'm like it's ridiculous that we have 14 of these movies or something, and they're all the same. Like go somewhere different.
I think
And I like Harry Potter. I'm a Harry Potter fan.
I think you wouldn't care if the story was good.
Yeah, probably. You're probably that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I just think I was so spoiled with those first eight.
You're not exactly asking for like Hulk in like Egyptian times. You're just like give me more good movies. Do you know what I mean? I think it's like just the story.
Not even good. I don't care about a good movie. Like, just make it interesting or coherent or show me something I haven't seen before.
Well, that's a nice segue to the '90s because I feel like with the '90s movies in the '90s they were just like fun, interesting. Didn't throw politics at you as much. Weren't trying to preach to you or make you feel any way. '90s movies were just about entertainment. I feel compared to the movies now.
There's definitely a few. Like, there's definitely like Spike Lee, obviously big political filmmaker. Oliver Stone throws a lot of message in there. Kevin Smith did with a couple of his as well.
Yeah, but it's different. It's difference between.
But it's not beating you on the head.
Yeah, it's difference between using it as entertainment and telling the audience or guilt tripping the audience or I just feel like the '90s were like just like let's have a fun ride sort of thing.
I agree. I'm glad you brought us back on track because I was definitely losing my mind.
Pretty good segue, right?
That was great. We should dive into it. You got a list of 5. Any honorable mentions?
Oh, I got plenty, too much. But Casper was one of the honorable mentions.
Which one?
Casper?
Yeah, Casper's. We were talking about that in a previous episode. I think my sister brought up Casper, which is a really dark film. Like if you think about like dark and sad. All right, well let's jump into your list. I'm really excited to hear what you've got because I have no idea where it's going to go, but I've got a couple of ideas. I got a couple of there's a Tim Burton film in particular that I'm expecting to show up, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah. It was really hard. There was a ton of movies. Like '90s were just like crazy for like a lot of good different movies. I picked the ones that I remember being like enjoyable to me. So they're not necessarily good movies or profound.
Oh, that's fine. That's the whole point.
I mean, that's the whole point. Yeah. But like these just like that. Some of them are just like that. Like they're just whatever movies. Like not amazing. But I think that sort of tells you that that's like in the '90s. So you have different tastes. You know, every decade. So my first one is Waterworld.
I knew this was going to be on your list. I knew it was going to be on your list. Because until the other night, you were the only person I know who's seen that movie.
Oh.
I was talking to Maddie the other night, and she said it was very close to being on her list because she's a big Kevin Costner fan.
Yeah.
And then made me think of you. I'm like, oh, Josh loved that film. Like I remember when you would bring it up to me constantly, like throughout. You brought it up to me so many times, and you're like, it's not bad. People say it's a bad movie, but it's not. Like they just haven't given it a chance. Tell me all about Waterworld. I knew it was going to be on your list. Oh, I knew it was going to be here.
That's good. That's good. You are my best friend.
And we'll pause for the heartfelt moment there. Everyone will go, oh, and we'll continue.
No, so Kevin Costner plays like this, I guess, anti-hero.
Okay.
Comes across, like, gets stuck in a sort of situation where he's stuck with this this girl who has a map on her back. I should start with the setting, right? So the world is underwater. So there's nothing but water everywhere, thus Waterworld. I should explain that, even though it's called Waterworld.
Is it kind of like Mad Max, but in the ocean?
Yes. So I was reading.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a tough description because they were trying to rip off the people who made it wanted to rip off Mad Max. So when trying to come up with the ideas, so they're like, let's do Mad Max in the ocean. That's literally like.
Oh, that's awesome. I wish I had known that like 20 years ago. I would have watched it wasted. I still haven't watched it. So now you're second person this week to talk to me about Waterworld. It's going on the list.
Yeah. And basically, so this guy's just like, he gets stuck in this sort of, he's an anti-hero. So he gets stuck in a situation where he ends up having to take care of this girl that everyone wants because apparently she has a map tattooed on her back that has the directions to dry land. So you have like the bad faction called the Smokers. And
that's a good.
You know why they're called
such a 90s name?
Yeah. Do you know why they're called the Smokers?
Is it because they smoke?
Yes.
Oh my god,
they just have lots of cigarettes and they just smoke all the time.
That's brilliant.
And the outfits are really like, you know, makeshift, Mad Maxy and all that. Really cool. And yeah, so he gets stuck with this girl and like this other woman, and he's sort of just trying to like protect them at the same time, like they're trying to figure out where it is. And it's like that's pretty much the plot. And I think his story is that he learns to care. I'm pretty sure that's sort of like, it sort of seems the vibe because he's like an anti-hero, only cares about himself, sort of learns to care.
Well, I'm glad he learned a lesson. That's important.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the gist. It's just like this fun sort of apocalyptic ride, you know, on the water, and like, yeah, there's cool action scenes, you know, with weird makeshift jet skis and cities, you know, built on water. But I'm pretty sure the more interesting story is like behind the scenes and how it was like, you know, the most expensive flop of all time.
That's back then. I bet you there's like bigger flops now. Like absolutely.
Yeah, I made its money back and become a cult hit. But yeah, like apparently some of the sets like sunk as well.
That's no good.
You know, Jack Black's in the movie as well.
Is he really?
Yeah, he plays like a pilot, a smoker pilot.
That's awesome. My the first appearance of Jack Black I can think of is in I Still Know What We Did Last Summer. Like where he plays like a cabana boy or whatever, where he just like he's just like high and like just playing in the pool.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's just like I mean, like Mad Max is a pretty simple storyline. This is pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much your anti-hero gets stuck in a situation and he helps them out, and that's sort of like, you know, the ending is where like they get these this girl to like dry land. And the cool twist, this sort of thing is like there's still like mutants, so like humans have like evolved, and there's a few of them, so they're like sort of freaks. And this like anti-hero guy has the ability to like breathe underwater for a real long time.
I was gonna say, I bet you someone has gills or something. Like, I hope there's like a fish person.
Yeah, so like Kevin Costner's character has gills, and like he has like this little like jar of like dirt, and everyone's just like, "Where'd you get that from?" I'm not selling it. I'm terrible at selling it.
I love that performance. Like,
Yeah,
I hope to see you in Waterworld. To say,
yeah,
where'd you get that from?
yeah. I mean, the concept is really cool. It's a very believable idea these days. You know, the ice caps melting. You know,
I
drowning.
thought you said these films weren't political.
I
I'm
mean,
being.
you baited me so bad then.
You got to, like, you can't say this because this is an audio podcast, but just like stop, just like, oh no.
Damn it, you got me. I think for the sake of entertainment, it's showing in an entertaining way, not telling, which is the difference. And dry land turns out to be on Mount Everest, so that's sort of cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that's how high the water's gone. Like, it's like, wow, that's crazy.
I think I'm surprised no one's tried to remake it. I just think it's a cool concept. Um,
It'd
I
be
love.
interesting. It'd be interesting to see like someone take another shot at it. Like, with the studios, like, wait, you want to remake the biggest flop of the '90s? Yes, yes. I think I got a way to tell it in an interesting way. Um, you could totally do it today, and you could do it like from a um budgeting point of view. You could do it way more manageable. Like, you wouldn't have to build all that stuff. You could use green screen and stuff like that to help.
Yeah, yeah. I just think it's really cool idea. Even though that they could have done more with it. You know, they had problems. It was expensive. Like, yeah,
I'm so glad it was on your list. Simply because today
yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the show. I'm like, I bet you Josh is going to bring up Waterworld. I hope he does. I
Yeah,
hope I know him well enough that
that's
makes his '90s list.
that's crazy good. Yeah. You'll probably guess the next one then. Edward Scissorhands.
Not what I was expecting. Is this your only Tim Burton film?
This is my only Tim Burton film. What
Okay,
was?
I thought you were going to go Sleepy Hollow. That's what I thought you were going to
Oh
do.
no. I like Sleepy Hollow, but I don't think I've watched it enough times. I really like Edward Scissorhands. Like I feel like Tim Burton's done a number of good movies, like towards that side of like of his movie making career.
He's
But
been pretty consistent. Like, I'm a known, especially when I was younger. Again, like when I was more snobby, I was a known Tim Burton basher. Like, I remember at one point I was like, the guy when his original stuff is great, but he shouldn't remake. He shouldn't make other properties. Like, that's what I said at one point. But no, I think he's been pretty consistent. Definitely his earlier work is probably more interesting. But I think his more recent stuff has been pretty good as well. There's some good stuff in there. But yeah,
for me,
uh,
there's only like three amazing films. Like I like all these movies, but for me, there's three amazing films. That's Nightmare, um, Beetlejuice, and Scissorhands. Those three.
Nightmare Before Christmas, which he didn't direct,
I mean, but he sort of
created it.
he created it, so
Yeah,
I think he gets props for like.
yeah, sure. No, I know. I just was. Can you say them again? Sorry, it's Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands, and Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
Did I tell you that I finally watched Beetlejuice?
yeah, yeah. Tell me what you think.
I really, I'll say this. I really enjoyed it. Beetlejuice is the most annoying character in the film. Like,
yeah.
Tina came home while I was watching. She goes, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Beetlejuice," and she's like, "Oh, she goes, you never seen this before?" I'm like, "No, it's my first time watching it." But like when we talked about the '80s films, like everyone talked about it, so I bought it and I'm watching it. And she goes, "What do you think?" I'm like, "I think it's pretty good." And then like 2 minutes later, Beetlejuice came out, and like he does that first monologue, and he's like hitting on Gina Davis, he's doing all this stuff. And at the end of his monologue, I turned to Tina, I go, "You hate him, don't you?" And she's like, "Oh my god, he's so insufferable." She's like,
Yeah.
"I'm going to bed," and I was
I mean,
like, "Fair enough."
that's the point of the character, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I got that. But he's you could yeah he's
He
definitely
doesn't have a redeeming quality, and that's so weird because I was like, I love Beetlejuice, and I watched it with Dad, and she's like, Beetlejuice is kind of rapey.
yeah. Well, I mean, like, as a kid, you don't see that like those layers. So like it's like it's the Ferris Bueller effect. This is a theory I've come up with because I loved Ferris Bueller's Day Off as a kid,
Yeah.
and thought he was so cool and like funny and clever. and then I showed Ferris Bueller to Tina because she'd never seen it before. She saw it as a 30-year-old school teacher. And she's like, Ferris Bueller's a dick. And I was like, he is. Like, I never thought about it before. But as a kid, he was so cool because he's doing all these things. But as an adult, like, I'm like, oh, this kid's a nightmare. Like, he's not, Bart Simpson. Like, he's not like deliberately trying to hurt people or anything. But at the same time, he's like, oh yeah, like he's really annoying. Like he's just making people's lives difficult. And I think Beetlejuice is probably the same thing. As a kid, I'm sure he was very funny. Like, oh, he's got a funny voice, and he swears, and he does all these, he's like a zombie, or is he? I don't know what he is, and he's a rebel. But as an adult, you're like, wow. Especially an adult, like in the 2020s, like you're like, whoa.
Yeah. But Beetlejuice is a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I loved the thing that Tim Burton does really well, and I guess we'll cover in Edward Scissorhands in a moment, is the contrast between his characters and like quote unquote normal society. Like those pitch perfect like 1950s era style houses with the white picket fences, and then throw a weird monster man in there. Like,
I just read because I was just reading up on all my movies. I read something that really like puts it into perspective of why he's like it's like that, and it's because he was like an outsider, obviously. So he like Edward Scissorhands for him is like him trying to like fit into society and being treated as an outsider, and I totally like resonate with that like sort of creative sort of difference and stuff. But like that's how he was feeling like living in Burbank and stuff. So that Edward Scissorhands for him is like that contrast between like the weird and the normal, and like the normal the weird character or like the outsider finding their way in the normal world. Is really
yeah,
like a story.
I studied Tim Burton a bit when I was studying film in high school. Like we talked about that. I think we were shown Edward Scissorhands. I think we studied Edward Scissorhands in class, and it's a beautiful movie. Like
Yeah,
it's
so good.
like everyone, like if you haven't seen it or you only think of it as a Tim Burton film, you're like, oh, it's like a kooky guy with scissor hands. Or like if you've ever seen that Seinfeld episode with the barbers, where the barber's like, oh, how are you gonna go to the toilet with the scissor hands? But it's so layered. Like it's not just a monster film. Like it's in many ways it's Frankenstein, but it's
Yes.
like it's like Frankenstein. If Frankenstein's monster then tried to move in next door, like
Yeah, I think it's the. I mean, like, I think it's the only Frankenstein movie re-envisioning of a successful Frankenstein movie to date. I don't
what
think.
about what about Frankenweenie, which is also Tim Burton?
I mean, I like that in a different way, but it's not like.
I haven't seen it, so I just thought I know you've seen. I know you said you liked it, so I wanted to double check.
Frankenweenie is fun, but I think Edward Scissorhands is the only reimagining of Frankenstein done successfully to date. Like, I don't think there's anything else that comes close to being as good as Edward Scissorhands as a new version of Frankenstein.
It's funny, like I watched that. Like I haven't watched it in probably close to 20 years. Like I think the last time I watched, it, I was still in high school, but there are a couple of images that come to mind straight away, and like people always think of like him cutting the hair and him trimming the hedges and stuff. But I always think of Winona Ryder comes home and she gets into her bed and she finds out that Edward Scissorhands is sleeping in her bed, and then he rolls over and pops the waterbed with all his scissors.
Yeah.
I always think of that, and like there's just like because he hasn't had proper parenting. Like he was raised by a mad scientist who dies, if I remember correctly, and so he doesn't really have language skills either. And Johnny Depp's delivery of the word police when they start hunting him, he's just like police. Like it cracked me up for so long as a teenager. I'm like, what is that choice? But the other thing I think of, which is probably something people think of more, is out in the snow when he's like dancing and it's like in a snow globe and stuff.
It's such a good scene, just with like the hedge trimmed animals and like the snow and all that. So is that Christmas time? I can't remember if there's Christmas lights in it or not.
Oh, I can't remember either.
If it is, does that make it a Christmas movie or not? Because I know Tim Burton does put a lot of Christmas in his movies.
Batman Returns.
Yeah. Batman movies are very 90s, by the way.
Sorry.
Then the Tim Burton Batman movies, another 90s. They're another 90s.
Well, the first one's 89, but the second one's 92, so you get the second one.
Yeah.
Everything you said about Edward Scissorhands so far, like I would like even Tim Burton, like kind of be the outsider fitting into normality, like 100% agree with. Like it's
Yeah. I literally read that story is literally like him trying to like get to grips with like where he grew up. I think is Burbank. But yeah, like I was like that. I'd never realized that, but that makes so much sense. And it's really cool. I also read that like I take this with a grain of salt, but apparently Tom Cruise auditioned for Edward Scissorhands, and he questioned like how does Edward go to the toilet?
Oh,
So
really? That
yeah,
that does that. I bet you that's true. Like, I bet you that, like, if you think about Tom Cruise, the Tom Cruise we know today, the kind of practicality he takes when he approaches his films, he's like, no, I have to actually jump out of a helicopter. I bet you, like, as a young actor, he was like, well, hang on, if I'm going to be, I'm Edward Scissorhands, okay, so I've got scissors for hands. Oh, I need to go to the toilet. Like, how do I do that? And Tim Burton was probably like, shut up and get out of here. Like,
that's pretty much what happened. I think I read it. It might have been like fake, celebrity gossip, on them dumb websites. But I have an answer for Tom Cruise. I was like, he's not human. He's a robot. Like he was made. He
is he a
doesn't need.
robot?
Maybe he's half human though. He's organic. Like I mean, like he's robot and like made from parts. So does he need to pee?
Well, if
He
you think of Frankenstein's monster, like he was made from like bits and pieces
made
of
from parts.
corpses.
Yeah, yeah.
Does Dr. Frankenstein like give him a bladder or a stomach? Like, does Frankenstein's monster eat? I honestly don't know the answer to this question. I've never read Frankenstein, and I can't remember. Like,
I'm trying to think because I'm pretty sure at the start of Edward Scissorhands is like he's like making him, and there's a lot of gears and pistons and
mm.
stuff. So I'm trying to remember if he's like more robot, he's like half robot and half man. So I can't remember, but
But if he's made, so there wasn't, even if he's like, he wasn't born like out of a woman. He's been like pieced back together from bits and pieces of junk and robots and humans. Then
yeah,
he's not alive anyway, technically not alive the way that we are. So he probably doesn't really need to eat. Like, he does eat in the movie, but he
yeah.
probably doesn't need to because he probably doesn't have like a digestive tract. So he probably doesn't need to go to. I think you're right.
I
Uh,
just feel like he
but where
if
does that
as
food and liquid go?
just at the chute at the back.
This is like a whole, just like an exhaust pipe.
I mean, it sucks the fun out of everything. I mean, he has scissors for hands, and they work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there would be exhaust. I mean, if I was building a human robot, I was like, why are there so many like holes? Just let's have one hole that shoots all the crap out the back.
Yeah. But if he wasn't designed to eat, then like he wouldn't need one. It's only because like the
Yeah.
Avon lady was like, yeah, we'll give you some peaches or something, and then he has to do something with it.
I just think that because he was made and he sort of like has these like robotic, blade hands that
Mm.
you'd be like, well, maybe he doesn't need it. He's not, totally like flesh and all
I'll
that.
buy it. I think that's a rational explanation.
Yeah, I just
Tom Cruise and that guy from Seinfeld, need to pay more attention. He's not real,
yeah,
so.
get lost, get out of here.
It's a really good flick. Like, and now, like just like before when we were talking about Chappie, you're now making me want to watch Edward Scissorhands because I haven't watched it in so long. Um, but it's a really wonderful movie. Like, I'm trying to think of all the different bits and pieces. Um, I feel like no, I can't remember. It's been so long, I can't remember. But I was gonna say, isn't there like a whole scene where like all the girls are interested in Edward, or is it just Winona
Yeah,
Ryder?
yeah, he becomes like
Very popular with the girls.
the puppy dog, like the hot puppy dog of the town.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like the curiosity because like they don't sort of like he's different, so he becomes like the sort of interesting sort of talk of the town.
But as soon as he makes the mistake, he's a monster.
Yeah,
Because they hunt him down, don't they? They hunt him back to the castle, like just
yeah,
like Franken. It's very much Frankenstein. Um, yeah, as I said, it's been a minute, so I'm just trying to jog my own memory. But yeah, it's such a good movie,
yeah.
so good. Like, definitely, like, is that Tim Burton's first movie? Am I remembering that correctly? Does that no? Because it's no 90, so 89 was Batman,
Yeah,
and Beetlejuice was 88.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what his first movie. Oh, I don't
Well,
know.
he did Frankenweenie as a live action
Yeah,
when he worked for Disney. It's so funny because when I was studying him, there was this whole story about how Tim Burton worked for Disney and he hated it because they wanted him to draw everything the same way as everyone else. And so he
oh,
quit working for Disney. And I was like, really? Because he's really gone on to thrive with Disney over the last decade. Like he's got like whatever issues he had with Disney, he's still clearly put them to bed. So
There's so many stories of people working for Disney leaving, and then they end up like funding their movies or content because they're like, oh, I don't want to do it the way Disney does it, and they're like, fine, leave, and then they go off and be like define themselves some other way, and then they end up like Disney ends up publishing their work because they need a bigger catalog.
yeah, well, the thing that Tim Burton did most recently was Wednesday, which was wonderful.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if he did Pee-wee.
Yeah.
That was his first movie, I think. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Everything else was shorts before that, including, as I mentioned, he did Frankenweenie, which was a Disney short. It was a 30-minute short.
Yeah. They're probably like, it's too dark, get out.
Oh wow, that's a solid cast as well. Nice one. That's a great flick. I love Edward Scissorhands, and you've really made me want to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, it's good.
I need to order a Tim Burton pack or something and just get all the movies I'm missing. So I don't have a lot of his films.
Yeah. There's also I think Big Fish. No one ever talks about
Big Fish. Yeah, Tina loves Big Fish.
Yeah. And he did Planet of the Apes.
Yes, which I've only seen once. I remember the one time I did watch it, I really did like it, but I was a bit younger. But according to most people, it's not a preferred film. But I'll give it another go.
Yeah.
What is next on your 90s list?
Oh, I don't know if I've told you about this, but I feel like I have. I found it weird that it's on my list, but I just remember it so much, and it's The Frighteners.
That doesn't surprise me either. You were a big Frighteners fan when we were kids. I still haven't seen it from start to finish, but this is a Peter Jackson film, isn't it?
Yeah.
With MJF himself, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, horror comedy. All right, so
you'll have to tell me a bit about this one because I haven't seen it. So
yeah, so he's like a paranormal investigator who is friends with the ghosts, and he gets them to haunt places, and then they'll leave his card close by, and then the people that are haunted will end up calling this guy to come in and get rid of the ghosts. So he basically just scams people with real ghosts. So he can see ghosts. He just uses them as a business to make a living, and so he's he's sort of this is sort of he's I mean, this is where he is right now until he starts noticing people with numbers on their head, and he's like, what's going on? So he gets a bit of a greater calling for him to use his abilities properly. So it's sort of just this fun journey where he has to sort of use his abilities to overcome, I think it was a near-death experience, and he's what would you say? His shortcomings to stop people from being murdered by this entity that's appearing as death going around and actually killing people. And he's sort of the only one who can see what's going on. So this is his calling basically. And it's just a fun journey with ghosts and Michael J. Fox and all that.
Yeah, I'm shocked that I haven't seen it. Being that I love the Back to the Future films so much, being that I love Ghostbusters, you would think that this would be a natural progression for me, but just haven't got around to it.
That's right. Yeah. So so the near-death experience defines his life. So he's sort of given up on life a little bit, but from that he gains the ability to see ghosts. So he's dealing with it's to do with the theme is death, obviously. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. That's fine. I'm happy that you've got more information than I do on the film.
I haven't seen it in ages. I just really enjoyed it.
I got to look it up now and see who else is in it. I feel like I know more about the film than I remember knowing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
John Aston's in it. Jeffrey Combs, D. Wallace. Wow, this is a who's who of horror history. Ali Ermey. Oh, this is a great list. I got to check this out. There's so many huge faces in it. That's awesome. Well, I know what I'll be adding to my list after this episode as well.
It's a good movie. I didn't do it justice, but it's just really fun.
No, that's solid. Nice one. I wish I had more to say about it. I wish I had seen it so I could talk to you about it, because I feel like it's the kind of movie that I'm really going to dig on.
I can't remember a lot of things, but the gist is like it's just like he finds out someone's murdering, like the Grim Reaper's coming along and murdering people, and they've all got like the cool visual thing of this is like everyone's got like numbers on his head, so he sort of knows when they're gonna sort of pass away. So his job is to prevent it from happening. And I think that sort of ties in with his inability to save his like wife from a car accident. Yeah.
I've got to check it out. Like, you're getting like as excited as I was getting about Edward Scissorhands. Like, I've seen that before, but like I really want to check this out now.
Characters are really good in it too. The personalities, yeah.
Nice one.
I definitely like you'll shed a tear for the what is it, the cowboy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the what's his called, the gunslinger. Yeah, he's cool.
Oh, I like that. I'm a fan of a gunslinger, so I'm definitely down to check that out. All right, that's on the list now. That'll be added.
Ooh.
I was gonna do a Blu-ray order tonight, so I might have to see if I can get a copy of Frighteners.
Yeah.
I looked up Waterworld while you're talking about it. It's not available in Australia on Blu-ray, and the cheapest copy I could find in the UK was $37. So I might have to wait till it's on sale.
Nice.
We are burning through this list. What's number 2?
Galaxy Quest.
That doesn't surprise me either. Oh, another one I still haven't seen. I was literally thinking today when I was looking, because I was getting ready, I'm going to do an order tonight. I was like, I should just buy Galaxy Quest, and I can finally watch it.
Yeah.
You used to talk about Galaxy Quest a lot, and I remember not understanding what it was. So I'm like, that looks weird. Like, it looks dumb. Like, that was my thought. But now that I know that, like, it's about, well, I should let you talk about it. It's your movie.
Well, I was going to say I'm not a Star Trek fan, but I like everything about the movie, and I think it's just like a really fun ride. But it's essentially like, what would happen if the people playing Star Trek characters were abducted by real aliens?
Yeah.
They would have to save the day for real, but in the exact same setting that they would play on the show. And that's exactly the premise. Like, they have to embody the characters. They have to learn to embody the characters they play on the show. And I just think, like, people have called it like the perfect movie, which when I was reading, I was like, that's crazy, because I just think it's like a really fun, awesome sci-fi.
No, people love it. People love it. It's one of those ones that's been on my list forever to check out. I've never got around to it. But obviously, I'm a huge Alan Rickman fan. I don't really know anyone who's not a huge Alan Rickman fan.
Perfect too.
Sigourney Weaver, Tim Allen.
Yeah. I just realized Tim Allen in that movie has like a Buzz Lightyear catchphrase too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Hang on. What is it? It's never give up, never surrender. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That does feel very Buzz Lightyear, yeah.
Oh, doesn't it? Yeah, no, it's Alan Rickman's character, which plays a Spock type.
I was gonna say he's Spock, isn't he? Like, he has to be Spock, yeah.
I mean, they just play the same sort of characters that you would have seen in Star Trek, but on like an exaggerated level, and then they add their personal things. So like, obviously, like, Tim Allen plays like a William Shatner, who's just like, too cocky and just like, whatever, I'm here. Every like, all the characters sort of exaggerate. Sigourney Weaver just plays like the non-important female character that just lets her repeat everything. It just pokes fun at Star Trek while improving on it in a fun, and it sort of like makes it its own thing. Like, the aliens are funny, the action and adventure is really good too. It's just a fun ride.
It's a sort, like, even the support, like Tony Shalhoub, Sam Rockwell. I just saw that Justin Long's in this movie. Like, is this Justin Long's first film?
No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe his first film. I know he was in TV for a while.
The first movie I remember seeing Justin Long in was Dodgeball, and I was actually talking about him on the last episode, on an episode recently as well, because Maddie was saying she didn't like Vince Vaughn movies, and I was like, Dodgeball's great. Like, I wouldn't hear anything against Dodgeball. I love me some young Justin Long, but
is it because Vince Vaughn plays the same character every single time?
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He just but he does he's very sarcastic, and Maddie was saying she doesn't really like sarcasm. She doesn't always get sarcasm. And I was like, oh, well then, like, you can't watch a Vince Vaughn film because all he does is be sarcastic.
Yeah, he's like the sadistic, dry humored, dude in every scene.
But the last few years, Vince Vaughn's had a great
Yeah.
resurgence. Like Galaxy Quest is his first movie. It is.
Really?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Vince Vaughn's had a great little comeback. Like Freaky, I love Freaky. I don't know if you've ever seen Freaky, but that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Um, oh, and Dwight, what's his name? Rainn Wilson's one of the aliens.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's oh, that's awesome. I've got to like, I'm almost ashamed that I've seen almost none of the movies on your list, but I'm so excited because I'm going to add all three of them to my list. I've got a picture here for you. Here's Dwight.
How,
Here's Dwight from The Office in Galaxy Quest. The audience can't see it,
ah,
but
ah,
there he is. um, yeah, like I said, like I don't have much background, so I can't talk about them too much. But I'm coming away from this with a lot to watch. And there's young Justin Long. There he is, in it with a haircut I've never seen him wear before. But there he is.
yeah, yeah.
Man, I'm so excited about your list because it's given me so much material. Like I haven't heard you talk about a single film where I'm like, I don't care about that one. Like I want to see all of these movies.
And how weird is it? Because they're not like Independence Day or like cult like blockbuster movies from the 90s. They're just like random sort of like fun fantasy movies as well, which I
Well,
find weird.
well, I haven't heard your number one yet, and I could spoil it, but I've been saying for a while now that the 90s were run by the three M's, and that's The Matrix, Men in Black, and The Mummy. Like those are the movies I think of when I think of the 90s.
Matrix almost made the list, but this other movie I was just like, well, purely based on my interests,
Mm.
it knocked the Matrix out because the Matrix One is like perfect and a good embodiment of the 90s in sci-fi, I reckon.
Um, absolutely. Well, it had Rage Against the Machine on the soundtrack, which, as we talked about before, would influence some bad decisions I made when I worked at a video store. uh,
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, I am loving your list. Like this might be my favorite list you put in so far. You've had some pretty good ones, but everything on this list I want to watch, and most of it I haven't seen before. So that's always very exciting for me.
Well, I like that. Yeah. My number
Which
one,
leaves number one.
which you have seen, is Blade.
Oh, of course. Honestly, I thought Men in Black was going to be on your list somewhere, but Blade is a great, great movie.
Men in Black is fun and it's good, but Blade is my embodiment of fantasy action for the 90s.
Mm.
So, I mean, a lot of people know what Blade is. Wesley Snipes, very 90s guy, very 80s guy.
He's back. He's out of prison. He's doing movies again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
Blade is like it just changed everything. It changed the landscape for comic book movies, especially.
yeah. I feel like it's weird because it like wasn't a big deal, but then it is a big deal at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like it just is it the first comic book movie as well? I mean, no, it's not.
Well, no. We had Superman in '78.
What about Marvel though? Is it? I thought it's almost the first Marvel movie.
No. It was the first big budget theatrical Marvel film, but there was a Punisher film in the '80s. There were two Captain America films in the '80s, where he literally wears a bicycle helmet. There's a Fantastic Four film from the very early '90s which never got released. So there are some Marvel films, but this is the first.
I was going to say I read something, I can't remember. It's significant for some reason for Marvel. I can't remember what it is though.
I think it's the first live action Marvel film to get a proper budget and a proper studio release. I think it's the first of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think because Spider-Man was 2001, X-Men was 2000, Fantastic Four was like 2003 or something. So all those early Marvel films came after Blade. Most of Marvel's films didn't really come out until the 2000s. So yeah, Blade could very well be the first.
But I wouldn't call it a stable Marvel movie anyway, because it doesn't follow any of the sort of framework that would go on to being a Marvel movie anyway.
I guess the only Marvel film was in the 70s, The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. That might be the first Marvel movie, but it was a TV movie, so it still doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say it. It's very unlike Marvel because it's one of the few Marvel films to have an adult rating. Like they didn't market it as a movie for kids. Like they were like, this is an adult horror film. with one of the greatest opening scenes of any comic book film ever, which is the blood rave.
Oh yeah, really good. But yeah, just iconic. A lot of good. The story's great. Action scenes are great. Um, just kick-ass lines. Everything that makes '90s cool. Vampires, when vampires were cool and didn't sparkle.
That's a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot.
I did
Like,
watch Twilight. I did watch Twilight the other day.
oh, did you? How did it hold up for you as a man in your mid-30s?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, for I was like, I'll watch this over like something boring. I don't know. I don't know what to
It's like that is the perfect definition of a movie that's not for me. Like, I saw a bunch of those films because Tina was into the Twilight films, and I thought they were fine. I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch it again. But I thought they were fine. But like, I couldn't understand the hate because I'm like, well, they're made for like 14-year-old girls. Unless you're a 14-year-old girl, you're probably not going to like this movie. Like, it's not made for you. And it proved that Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are the smartest people in the world because they were like, 14-year-old girls are going to see this movie again and again and again. Tina saw it like 4 times in cinemas, I'm pretty sure, the first Twilight film.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're going to become billionaires, and then they can just do whatever they want in Hollywood. And they have. Every movie they've made since those Twilight films has been interesting and cool and different. Like, Kristen Stewart, like, got ridiculed for her acting in those films, but she's made some wonderful movies. And Robert Pattinson, like, he's Batman now. Like, he's done some really cool movies as well. So they were smart. They were like, we're gonna get on this cash train. We'll make a bunch of money and then do something really,
I mean,
make the movies.
Twilight does have some cool ideas, like some cool concepts. I mean,
Tearing apart the vampires and burning them, that's pretty cool. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think just with that whole Teen Throb thing, so just changes the theme a little bit.
well, I mean, like, again, like, vampires are inherently romantic. Like, Dracula's a romance story. Interview with the Vampire is a romance story. Like, vampires have a very romantic history. It's because it was put in high school. Like, that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, it's in high school and they're teenagers and, they're going to play indie rock soundtrack. Like, I don't know. Like, and they sparkle. The sparkle thing, I actually kind of like the sparkle thing.
The sparkle thing is a cool concept, but I just think like it. I mean, like, obviously, like, how could this be done cooler? But obviously, it suits its purpose for the theme of the movie and all that, because it is cool. But it's just,
look, in 2000, I think it was 2008. And I know we were talking about Blade, but we got on a tangent. Whenever those books came out, which I think was 2008 or 2007, it was around that time. Like, vampires had already been done to death. So how do you, like? It's one of the oldest monsters is the vampire. Like, they've been telling stories about vampires for centuries.
yeah.
How do you change the vampire? How do you make it different? And she was like, you know what? Maybe they don't burn up in the sunlight. Maybe they sparkle. And I'll tell you what, no one had thought of that before that movie. Like, so.
Yeah, props to that idea. I definitely
Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
But Blade is a much more traditional avenue.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like it kicked off, like, sort of like then action vampire movies that would become Underworld and all that sort of style. Because, like, until then, vampires were like really like, let's drive a stake, in the vampire in like a castle or something. But I feel like I can't remember anything else that did like vampires in the modern world. Like with swords and leather and all that sort of thing. I can't think of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as well. Like, even Blood Rain, which those films, directed by Uwe Boll, and he's notorious for making very cheap and underperforming movies. But even that was made up. Yeah, Blood Rain.
I just the game movies.
Yeah, the game movie. That was made after Blade.
Yeah.
But I think Blade might have been the first. Which, of course, now they're doing Blade for the MCU. Like, they're working on that. And I read something recently where they're not going to set Blade in modern times. It's going to be set in like the 1920s, which to me was like, what a great idea. Like, that's how you can get more out of that. You can do you can do a time lapse story where it's him through the ages. Like, you can do that, and then just like Captain America, he shows up in the present day. Like,
I didn't even think of that.
Like, you can do him like in Victorian London, and you can do all sorts of cool things with him.
Isn't this Blade connected to the Eternals?
His voice was heard at the end of Eternals, just like the voiceover. And he was talking to
Jon Snow.
Yeah, Jon Snow. He's Dane something. I can't remember the character's name, but he's
Yeah,
the Black Knight. Um, Blade is a great film, and then of course Blade 2, Guillermo del Toro really puts him in
yeah,
the spotlight. And he would go on to make some more comic book movies as well as some interesting horror stuff. Because I think the only thing he'd done before Blade 2 was like The Devil's Backbone and Mimic, and that might be about it, I think.
yeah.
Because this is pre Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth doesn't come out till about 2004.
Oh,
So
really?
Blade 2 is before Pan's Labyrinth.
A lot of people didn't like Blade 2, but I didn't mind it like for something. I think did people have a problem with the vampire style, like the splitting of the? It's very
I
like
love that. I think that's really cool. I don't know. I think I told you about it. I watched the Blade films during lockdown, except for the first one because I think my DVD wasn't working and I don't have them on Blu-ray.
yeah,
It's been added to the wish list. And the problem I had with 2 is the action scenes didn't quite hold up as well. So like there's a stunt where like Wesley Snipes kicks off a wall, but you can tell he's like a 40-year-old guy trying to do a stunt that he probably shouldn't be doing. So it looks really lame.
yeah,
My favorite Blade story is from Blade Trinity,
yeah.
which is
Yes.
when Wesley Snipes hated the director so much that he refused to keep his eyes open, so had to CGI his eyes open. He just laid there on the table with his eyes closed, refusing to keep his eyes open. And I was like, that's so funny. Um,
Fuck you. We're gonna CG it that
yeah,
much.
if you want my eyes, you're going to have to pay thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in computer generated images to get my eyes. Um, I loved Trinity when it first came out because it was like it had Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel, and it was like Blade for like my generation.
Yeah,
It's there's some cool ideas in it, but it is a tough watch. Um,
a little bit of the cheese.
yeah, but like that whole scene where they come back to their camp, like everyone's been murdered, like that's a bold scene to put in a movie. Like you're introduced to all these heroes, and then like 20 minutes later they're all dead. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Also, like the ancient vampire. I think it's a good way to end the trilogy as well.
was Dracula. Dracula.
Yeah,
Played by Dominic Purcell, who we've all known from Prison Break and Legends of Tomorrow. Weird choice for Dracula. Not my go-to, but I didn't mind his performance.
I think he has like that sort of like I've been around for like eons, not eons, centuries.
Mm.
Sort of look.
I I always think of the bloodletting machine in the first Blade, where Deacon Frost straps him in and like is trying to drain him of his blood.
Yeah,
That's a very cool scene. A very very cool scene. Um, and then of course Chris Christopherson plays Whistler.
yeah,
Um, it's yeah, I haven't watched it in a good long while, but I remember I love Blade. Like every time I watch it, I have
yeah.
a grand old time with it. The director of Blade would go on to direct another movie you and I saw in cinemas, which was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And that was the last movie he directed.
Did you do Ghostbusters? The Ghost.
No, he didn't do that. Ghostbusters was Ivan Reitman.
Oh, right. Okay, right.
I'll be honest, man. That is a good list. Couple of films I've seen, most of them I haven't. Which I again like. I want to see all 3 of those films now. Like you've really got me in the mood to check out some Galaxy Quest Frighteners and Waterworld.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to hear what didn't make the cut. You said you got a couple of honorable mentions.
I think I lost my list, but Matrix was on there. Casper was on there.
Mm.
Um, Starship Troopers, I think.
I thought that was isn't that 2001?
I think so. That might be it.
Oh no, 97. My bad. It was 97. I bought Starship Troopers in the last year. I haven't rewatched it yet, but that's a great flick.
Yeah. Fifth Element.
Yeah, Fifth Element's come up on every episode now so far for the
Really?
90s. Everyone's mentioned it. Like the last 2 put it on their top 5, and you put it in an honorable mention. It's a great flick.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's. Yeah, I had Men in Black.
I love Men in Black. Like the 90s, like it's so funny. Like when I was preparing for this round of interviews or episodes, and I've started thinking about my list, and I still haven't finished my list. I think I've got 3 down. I'm still working out the other 2 on my top 5.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I kind of dismissed them. Like, oh, the 90s, like the 90s wasn't that big. Like a lot of that stuff doesn't hold up. There's a lot of cheesy action in there. But like the more I think about it, I'm like, it's actually a treasure trove. There's so much good stuff in there. Like
Yeah.
And that's not even touching on like the Pixar of it all. Like Pixar is born in the 90s. You get Bugs Life, you get Toy Story.
Yeah, literally everything. Even like I was trying to bet because we're talking about what hers would be as well, and she brought up a lot of like.
I should get back on the show. Like it's crazy I haven't got on the show at this point. Like I should get her on and get her to do a couple of lists as well.
Yeah. But she was saying Home Alone, Mighty Ducks, like all them sort of like coming of
Yeah.
age movies. Like um, it's just like that's what I think about the nights. You could just like I always think things like going to the cinema and like what you could see compared to now, because like we were trying to go to the movies and there was nothing for us to watch. Like my choice,
this year.
yeah. Like I literally choose between a kids movie or like a Marvel movie, and that's my choice.
It's tough because the chains don't carry a lot of the more interesting independent stuff. Like there was some great stuff last year, but I don't know which cinema showed The Northman, but Northman was great. I don't know which cinema showed Everything Everywhere All at Once, but that was a great movie.
I would have seen that at cinema. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been some horror stuff, but I know I know you like horror, but I know you're the world's biggest horror. But like this has been like January and February are big horror months because nothing plays normally in January, February. So that's when they release all the horrors.
Released Avatar then because it just like dominated the box office because there's no competition.
They have no competition until next week when Ant-Man comes out, or when this drops. Ant-Man will have been out and hopefully done quite well. We're in the future. In the future, everything has worked out. Ant-Man's taken over. I've literally been like trying to organize a babysitter for next week. So I'm like, I need to go see Ant-Man. I can't wait. They've got MODOK in it, and he's a big head. Like they've done MODOK properly. I can't.
What's the voice for that?
I think it's Corey Stoll. I think it's the villain from the first Ant-Man film, Yellow Jacket. I think it's his head.
All right.
But I'm not sure. Like that's just my theory. Like I don't know for certain. I'm very excited for Ant-Man. We're on the 10th.
I just felt like you could go to the movie center and you could pick between a comedy, like a good comedy, a good sci-fi, good action, 90s action. Like there'd just be like a choice of like good range. I mean, everything's gone to like the streaming services now, so I think that's also like I mean it's multiple things. It's like streaming services, Hollywood, what they're willing to put money into, what people are gonna, like the cost of things. I don't know.
There weren't too many surprises on your list actually. Like I thought. In fact, none of them surprised me. I wasn't expecting all of them. I was expecting Waterworld. I was expecting Sleepy Hollow, but I got Edward Scissorhands, which I'm happy with. I was wondering would you throw me a curveball and throw Dogma in there? Because I know you're a big fan of Dogma as well.
Oh, I love Dogma. I forgot about that movie. Yeah, I do love that. I will rewatch that.
That is a hard movie to get. Like it's not available on any format in any country at the moment. It seems like it's
a rated movie though, isn't it?
I've got two copies. I've got an American DVD and an Australian DVD. I was like, oh, good. I can definitely watch it at some point. I've got a couple of copies of it. So,
I definitely know you got to have Clerks on your list.
I won't put Clerks on my list. I can spoil it right now. And the reason is I never repeat movies. Otherwise, it would be on there. And like the thing is, I think I've already talked about my favorite Kevin Smith films from the 90s. So there probably won't be a Kevin Smith film on my 90s list. I've talked about Clerks. I've talked about Dogma. I like Mallrats, but it's not really in the top 5 list for anything for me. And Chasing Amy is not really in the top 5 list for me either. There is a movie that's on my list which will act as a Kevin Smith kind of filler, where it's very much like a Kevin Smith film. So I'll throw that in there because I like that, but I'll keep that from my list.
Yeah. Interesting. Is it hard for you? Like the 90s was hard, like really hard.
It is. It's really. I'm surprised. As I said, I'm surprised how hard it was because 80s. I'm like, there's so many great 80s films. 2000s. I'm like, that's when I started watching everything, and that's when comedy grew up, and that's when we started getting superhero films. So the 2000s, I think, it'd be easy as well. But 90s, I was like, there's not much. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, no, there's too much. Like there's so much. Like Jurassic Park came out in the 90s. Like this, like Men in Black, which I've talked about, Matrix, like. Yeah. There's so much, Speed, Face Off, like Con Air, like all these Nick Cage films. All the Harrison Ford thrillers, like Air Force One and stuff like that. There's so much in the 90s. It's nuts. So yeah, I'm having I'm not having a hard time, but I just want to. My thing, I take it very seriously, so I don't want to put my list out there and have any regrets and be like, man, I should have talked about this film more. But 80s, I was really happy with my list. I was really, really happy with my 80s list. So I think I'll get to a point where I have a 90s list that I'm very, very confident with as well. I just have to figure out what that list is. Because the problem is, as we get into more recent decades, I will have seen more movies from that decade just by having access to it. So 2000s, like especially working in a video store and being able to start going to the movies, I saw a lot in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020. Like there was a year where I went to the movies every week. Like, so it's going to get harder and harder to like narrow down that decade. Like on the old podcast I did, Past the Remote, we sat down and we did, for 2020, we did the best movies of the decade. And what we did was we did our top 10 movies from each year of the decade. And then the next episode was our top 10 movies of the decade. And I just took my number one from every list. I'm like, that'll do. Like that's, if it was number one of the year, then it must be number one.
Yeah. How would you go through that? It's almost impossible, right?
It's so hard. So hard. And also the concept of this whole podcast is ridiculous. Like, how can you choose just 5? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Well, you've made it to the end, but there's one more thing, as always, with an episode. There is a rapid fire question round. As I move through the decades and change the topic more, the rapid fires get harder and harder.
Yeah, it's my arch nemesis of your show.
I don't mean the questions are harder. I mean it gets harder for me to come up with questions, but I have been told these questions are quite hard. So
I just can't think that fast.
Well, there's only 4 questions this time. I've cut it down a little bit because I couldn't think of any others. So the first question from the 90s rapid fire round is, Josh, which 90s movie has the best poster? Yeah, that's a nice easy one for you.
Oh my god, I'm gonna say Edward Scissorhands. I can just remember that poster.
Yeah, it's iconic. That's really good.
Him like bending down and looking at with the scissors up, and it's a snowy background. Yeah,
it's really good. I haven't thought about my answer for that yet, but I would also say Batman Returns, just the cat, the bat, the bird, or whatever it is. Like that's a really good poster. Yeah. But I like your Edward Scissorhands. Funny, 2 Tim Burton ones. I didn't even think about that. That was a pretty quick answer. You've been practicing.
Yeah.
Josh, which 90s actor or actress is due for a comeback? So obviously recently we've had Brendan Fraser return after a long hiatus. Who haven't we really seen since the 90s, or who was big in the 90s and deserves to come back and have another big chunk of it?
Wesley Snipes.
Yes. What a great answer.
I was already thinking that. I was like, I want Wesley Snipes to come back. Like,
what's really funny is I think he said, like when they announced as a Blade film, he's like, hey, I'll do it. Like I'd love to do Blade again.
Yeah.
And like, in a world where they're doing Secret Wars and there's rumors of Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman coming back, why not get Wesley Snipes? Like you could totally do it.
I mean, I know it's like dumb to bring back like people who've already done the movie because you're like, well, we're already seeing this, but like I just feel like
No Way Home proves that you can do it. Like definitely do it.
I'm like, you're keeping Wolverine around Hugh Jackman for Wolverine around for another movie. Like Wesley Snipes is totally fine.
I just remembered an earlier Marvel movie. I just thought of it before Blade, Howard the Duck.
Oh, no.
That went in the cinema. That was in cinemas. Like it counts. Because the reason I brought it up is because like, oh, well, they should bring that Howard the Duck back into Secret Wars. Like, do that.
A lot of people want Howard the Duck to happen. I just don't think it's a good idea. I mean,
no, in a world with the Guardians, which you can totally do Howard the Duck. He's a detective. Yeah, you can totally do it.
Tell me how. Do you a full movie or a certain character?
Well, you know how they did Werewolf by Night as a special presentation? Like that's what they're going to do with introducing a lot of characters moving forward that maybe don't need a movie, but you want to introduce them. So do a Howard the Duck special presentation. Like do that.
Yeah.
And then you can just whack him in like, the way he's been kind of showing up time. Like he's been in the Guardians films. He was in Avengers Endgame for a split second. You can just have him like kind of show up or put him in a Deadpool movie. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
There you go. I got answers for everything. All right, Josh, which 90s film could best be improved by the technology of today? So it doesn't have to be CG, but it can be CGI. We're like, you know what, this film is great, but if it was made today, it would look a lot more polished. It would be a better experience.
You need 2 seconds to type in 90s sci-fi movies to jot my memory, and I can tell you straight away.
It doesn't have to be sci-fi.
I feel like there's a sci-fi movie that I said 90s. Yeah. I was gonna say Matrix, but I was like, Matrix is totally fine.
It's pretty flawless. Like it still holds up really well.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a movie in the 90s. No, I was gonna say Total Recall because of all the puppets, but they did remake Total Recall.
Well, I'm not saying remake it. I'm saying just like give it like a remaster or something, or like if they just made it today instead.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I want my answer to be good.
On the last episode, I was trying to figure out whether the Mummy Returns was made in the 90s or not, because that's got some really rough CGI. But
Yeah,
it was made in 2001. So
because I swear, Mummy. Because I was like, oh yeah, the Mummy, Terminator. Wouldn't I mean, like I don't know, because you got new Terminator movies, so I know what it's like. I don't know. Terminator's another one that did make my list that I thought was really good.
the first Terminator is 80s, the second one's 90s.
Second one's 90s. I don't know, man. Ace Ventura also made my list as well. Like
of course,
all the Jim Carrey movies.
There is a shocking lack of Jim Carrey on your list.
I know. They're on the side, but I was like, I have to take them out. I was going to do a special mention.
What would you say? I don't want to ask you too many questions at once. You're still trying to figure out your technology one.
Yeah, don't ask me.
I was going to say, which is your favorite 90s Jim Carrey film?
I was thinking about this because I really love The Mask. But
The Mask is great.
I feel like if I was going for like all round, because I really find Ace Ventura really funny and really cool. But I think the Mask sort of ticks just every single box. You know.
It's a real like in many ways it's Deadpool before Deadpool. Like he breaks the fourth wall. Like he does like it's such a strange movie, but it works so well.
I got my answer. Batman
Forever. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Why not? Right.
Or even like Batman and Robin, like all those drag races like over CGI screens and stuff.
Yeah. Totally fine movie. I love Batman Forever. For a number of reasons. Tim Burton, Jim Carrey, The Riddler.
Well, Tim Burton didn't direct Batman Forever though.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. But no,
it was Schumacher. Tim Burton produced.
Oh.
I like both those Schumacher Batman films, like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Like, whilst heavily flawed, there's a lot of fun to be had with them. You just can't take them too seriously. Like if you're expecting The Dark Knight, like you've misunderstood the film.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, the thing is, I was fine with like most of the CG in all these movies. Like, I thought, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, like even Star Wars, I was like, okay.
I was talking about Phantom Menace the other night, and I was saying like that is a severely underrated film. Like people like take that film to task, but there's more to that movie than Jar Jar Binks, guys. Like,
I mean, like I thought the CG was fine, and still think it's fine. I love the Phantom Menace because obviously, like
has the best lightsaber fight out of any Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I also like Jar Jar Binks, which is an unpopular opinion, but like that's what the Star Wars movies are. They're like these lovable characters or like cringy characters in this sci-fi universe. Like you can't like even if you look at the Mandalorian, it's the exact same thing, just a little cooler. Like there's Star Wars, that's the style. You have like it's religion, sci-fi, and lovable characters. Added with family drama.
I appreciate that you've defended Jar Jar Binks because very few people are going to do that. So I think whilst I'm not the world's biggest Jar Jar Binks fan, I can say this: it's a kids' movie. Like he's meant to be silly. Like that's the point of it. He's meant to make the kids laugh when they're not talking about trade deals and like politics, because that's boring to children. Like he's meant to make them laugh.
I just think there was a lot of serious things happen, and Jar Jar Binks was like your light-hearted part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I argued, I'm like, C-3PO is like downright annoying, and he's in all of those movies. like he is the most insufferable character in those films, but like people don't complain about him.
Also, the point of Jar Jar Binks was to be annoying, and if it becomes a pop culture icon in positive or negative light, then it's done its job. Do you know?
I loved the theory. I don't know if you heard this, but for a while before Force Awakens came out, the theory was that the overarching villain of the new trilogy was going to be Jar Jar Binks gone bad. Like he was going to just like he'd gone full villain, and I was like, I am so here for that. That would be amazing.
Even if it was like just like a dark Jar Jar Binks, just like not even like just for a while, I would totally be down with
He
that.
didn't even change his name. Like you know how all the Sith Lords like get like a Sith Lord name. He's just like Darth Binks. Like they didn't even. He's like, no, they can know my name. It's fine.
Yeah.
He's got like a gravelly, like gritty old man voice. He's like, it's not like Misa anymore. He's
What's
like, yeah, had some tough years.
even in the last Star Wars movie, Rise of the Skywalker? What's that little thing? I absolutely love that.
Bubba or something.
Yeah,
Bubba Frick or something, or
yeah, something frick.
I remember the first time I saw that movie. Like I messaged you afterwards. I'm like, hey, I checked it out. Wasn't that bad? And you're like, I love Bubba Frick. Like you were like,
I couldn't get over. I was watching it, and because I like the Star Wars movies. Like I'm not a huge fan, but I was like, I get it, and I think they're really enjoyable. One of the best sci-fi's to watch. And I was like, because I mean, like I still think that the sort of like how the characters make it, and like what's his name? Something freak, but something freak. Anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. I was sitting there, and this character comes out of nowhere, and I'm just like, that's amazing.
yeah, and he was great. He was really fun. And this he's the one who he restores C-3PO's memories or something. Is that what it is?
Babu freak.
Oh yeah, we were close. Like I've seen that movie exactly one time, so like to remember that it's not half bad, especially considering like they've named every individual character in that universe and people know them. All right, last of the rapid fire round questions. You thought you were done. You're like, oh my god, they're done.
Tangent. Sorry.
Which 90s movie deserves a mini series or TV show sequel? So it's very popular now. Like Cobra Kai is a good example, like as a sequel to Karate Kid. So which movie from the 90s you're like, you know what, I'd love to see those characters again. Show me like a mini series or even a full series just to see more of that story.
I was going to say The Crow, but I feel like we've got enough Crow movies.
Well, they're still aren't they making more with Jason Momoa, or aren't they making like a sequel or a reboot or something?
The first Crow was fine, and I think we're sort of done with that IP. But I would like a TV show just because it's like I would want to see what they could do with it.
Well, I have a very unpopular opinion of The Crow, and it's the same unpopular opinion I have about Top Gun. Whereas the fans of that movie need to chill out. Like, it's not a bad movie by any stretch, but like people have immortalized this film and put it on a pedestal to be like, it is the gold standard. I'm like, like it would have been cool for its time, and maybe I'm late to the party, but like ultimately, like people. So maybe The Crow does deserve a sequel because that Top Gun sequel was awesome. I couldn't believe how much I loved it.
They've already done a sequel to The Crow. They've made several sequels.
Yeah, they've made City of Angels or something, or
12 Monkeys is another good one too.
They did 12 Monkeys show, didn't they?
12 Monkeys, yeah. Maybe Fifth Element then.
What a good idea. Absolutely. What a great choice. Like an HBO, like Fifth Element show or something.
Just not as intense as Altered Carbon.
I haven't seen Altered Carbon, but I'll take your word for it.
It's good, but it's just, you got to concentrate, and it's really long.
As long as it's not like Westworld. Like I remember watching the first season of Westworld, and I was like, "This is amazing." And season 2, I'm like, "Are they deliberately trying to confuse me? Because I have no idea what's going on." Like that show became too smart for its own good. I think. Like I know people enjoy that show, but I couldn't get through it. I'm like, there's too much going on.
We got through season 2, but season 3 just lost us completely. Season 1 is awesome.
Yeah, season 1's great. Like so good. Like and like if you know anything about Westworld. Like I knew about the movie, and I'm like, oh, the movie with the robots take over, and like Tina was like, is that what it's about? I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what this show is. And then like it literally ends with the robots taking over. I was like, oh, good.
Just done. So I like just the way that the story is. Like you don't even know it's a time jump. Is so clever.
Yeah, it's. Really
I just sat there with my jaw dropped, going, amazing.
Yeah. I think that Fifth Element is a fantastic answer for a sequel. Let's just say a sequel series. Like, why not? Like, everyone involved is still around. You've still got Bruce Willis. You've still got Gary Oldman. You've still got Mila Jovovich. You've still got Chris Tucker. Whether you want that character back or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You've still got Luc Besson. Like, you could totally do it.
Or basketball.
I rewatched Basketball like last year, like towards the end of last year, and that flick is so funny.
Yeah,
Like
you could
it's
easily make a TV show on basketball.
yeah, like where they're like the coaches now, or like you like Doug like Coop and Reema have had a falling out, and they like coach rival
Yes.
basketball
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah. Easy, like just a sports story. It's easy. Like
Yeah, and like it's not about winning the league. It's about like rekindling the friendship and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
I mean, look, it's basically the plot of Basketball. Like they have a falling out, and become friends at the end on the Mucka Mucka Tree Bridge or whatever it is.
I just joked on my own saliva. Yeah, it's the same but different.
But you could totally do it. Like that'd be great. And there are plenty of, like, because like they don't have to be athletes. There's plenty of like young comedians, or not even young comedians. Like you could get some really great cameos.
Yeah.
Like you could throw like a Seth Rogen in one episode. Like he could play for like a
Bill Burr.
yeah, as like a commentator or a team owner or something, or even a player. That's a great answer. I like that more than Fifth Element. I thought Fifth Element was great.
I've completely forgot the comedy category for the 90s, which is like Eddie Murphy and all that.
Yeah, it's the birth of the bad boys of SNL. David Spade, Adam Sandler. Like think about like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah.
I adored those. I worshipped those movies when I was a kid. Like
trio, the Holy Trio.
I remember like when Happy Gilmore first came out. Like my dad wouldn't let me see it because there was too much swearing in it. And like if you think back to Happy Gilmore now, like it's so tame. Like cut to like 40-year-old virgin, which you couldn't show, like you couldn't watch until you were 15 because you weren't allowed in the cinema.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other day as well, Mr. Deeds, which I think is a heavily underrated Adam Sandler comedy.
I just think it's still different than Waterboy, Billy Madison, and Gilmore.
Waterboy, yeah, that's a great flick. Even Little Nicky, Little Nicky was kind of a forgotten one, but I enjoyed that one. Yeah, good stuff. Well, I've had a grand old time going back to the 90s with you, mate. Like this, that's a solid list, and we've had a couple of like follow-ups there as well, which is I really want a basketball series now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I really want a basketball series, and it would be so cheap to do because like you just have to like most of it's just gonna be in a stadium. Like you just have like, do you know what I mean? Like you just build a set for a stadium, and then like it's a house and maybe like an office or whatever, and that's about it. Like you could literally just do like George's time at the baseball stadium in Seinfeld. Like that's your setting for.
Yeah,
Like,
just lean into all the sports tropes. Like
so easy to do.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now you're all in the midst of your game at the moment. Do you have any updates? Anything you can tell listeners? Is it all quite hush hush still, or?
I'm going to keep it hush hush, I think.
No worries. Well, people can follow you on Instagram. Can you remind them of your game company's Instagram handle again?
At Dead Leaf Games.
Excellent. You're putting up content regularly. Like there's so much content coming out all the time. Some of the stuff you put up recently was so impressive to me. I remember I was talking to you before the show. Like you did these like holographic mushroom things, which looked amazing. And you got your first piece of fan art, which is awesome. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Josh is being very shy when it comes to. He always closes up when we talk about the game because he doesn't want to brag. But no, go ahead and support Josh's page, Dead Leaf Games. It's awesome. The updates are really cool. Every time I see stuff, I'm impressed, and it's because we've talked about this before. But for those who don't know, Josh does almost all the work himself. Like he's got a couple of people helping out here and there, but he does most of it by himself. So to see the caliber of work coming out from one person is insane. Like it shouldn't be possible, but yet you're doing it.
Very tired, mind you.
Yeah, well, there's that as well. Thankfully, you don't have kids or a mortgage and stuff, so that makes things a bit easier.
I've removed all the unnecessary risks.
You're like, don't need kids, don't need this, just fine. Just all that matters is junk lands. Have you released the name? You have released the name, haven't you? I was like, oh my god, if I just like broken the NDA.
It's Tom Holland.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the good thing is this isn't live yet, so I could have erased it out if I had to.
What would you have put there in its place?
I would have just cut the end of the episode. Like I just would cut it there and be like, and that's the week.
It just ends really weird.
And abrupt. You're working on a game called.
You're like, see, guys. Unfortunately, Josh had to go.
No, I do the Poochie ending with like, I must be leaving now. My planet needs me. Poochie died on the way back to his planet.
Oh, that's much better.
Alrighty. Well, it's been a fantastic episode. As you all know, Josh will be back again. Josh is always very generous with his time and comes to the show regularly. So we'll have him on again very soon, I'm sure. We've got a big 50th episode special in coming up, which I've got to start planning because that's going to be so much work. But that'll be when you're back, if not before. In the meantime, please follow the show on Instagram. I was a teenage film snob, underscores between every single word. Please like and subscribe. Give us 5-star reviews. Anything less than 5 stars, get out of here. No, just kidding. I'll take anything. Just be nice, please. Give me 4.5 stars.
No, do 5.
That's believable. They'll be like 5 stars, no way. But 4.5, like, I can see that. As we say every week on this show, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.